I've actually thought quite a long time about not making this video, but I've realized that it's going to be, I'll be honest with you, brutally honest, it's going to be more so for me down the line to look back on my statistics for 2025. And because my full-time job is, content creation, sometimes you do need to try and hook the viewer in to watch a video with a fancy thumbnail and some nice title. But this is just going to be a yearly recap for JDT and something to look back on in the future. Okay, well, I guess I'll just jump straight into it with the stats. So basically each tab down the bottom that I have is a year. So I've got 2020 in this one. Just to confirm, everything is organic. I've not paid for a single view. I've split it into two categories: subs, followers, and views. 2020 is a bit different, and as I get further down into the later years, you'll see that more stuff is added. So 2020 was literally just YouTube long form, and I amassed 1,100 subs as well as 97,000 views. In 2021, I've also added a new column, which is the year-on-year increase or decrease. In 2021, the YouTube long form went up to 2,700 subs, and views was 432,533. So we saw an increase here of 145% and 343% on the previous year, 2020. So big increases, lovely jubbly. But obviously much smaller numbers, so therefore easier in some aspects to have an increase. All relative, I guess. Then 2022, subs and followers, 8,700 subs on the YouTube, and views was over 1 million, 1.15 million, 166% increase and 222% increase. 2023, we have 22,600 subs gained and 3 million views achieved, which equaled 160% increase on the subs and 166% on the views. So still all really lovely jubbly, really good. Then we hit 2024. Now here we have a few more statistics. I've added Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. However, unable to provide the data for a lot of it. So hence why it says NA. However, 54,700 YouTube total subs have been achieved and 263 on my YouTube Shorts channel. And we managed to gain 115 total follows on Facebook, which gives us a total of 55,078. Views wise, 7.2 million on the YouTube, the long form, the Shorts gained me actually 91,000, which gives us a combined total of 7,336,725. And again, year-on-year increases, lovely for both of them. 144% for the subs and the follows, and 140% for the views. So every year so far, 2020 all the way to 2024 has been up. Really, really good. So is 2025. However, I don't see this happening again. I can't.
But yeah, just seeing these numbers are absolutely insane. And the fact that there's a 429% increase and a 1,022% increase, which is the biggest year on year since I started my YouTube channel, I don't see how that gets better. But in total, on the YouTube long form, we're talking 8.6 mil. The YouTube Shorts on its own for views was 30 million. On my actual YouTube Shorts channel, the JDT Shorts, it's 24 mil, I want to say, but I had like a 6 million viewed short on my long form channel, the main JDT one. So I kind of just subtracted it from here, which was 14 or 15 mil, and put it onto the YouTube Shorts one because I feel like it didn't count. TikTok was close to that with another 30 million as well. And then we had the 4.9 on Instagram and the 9.3 on Facebook. Insane numbers in terms of views, 82 million. I don't think I'll ever top that. 82 million views across everything is absolutely insane. In terms of actual followers and subs gained, it was 291,000 for the year of 2025 across everything. 115,000 on TikTok. I don't know what's going on. Again, all organic, nothing paid for. And being honest with you, all of this, all of this, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, is all recycled content from my long form. So it's not like I'm having to reinvent the wheel here. I'm just simply taking stuff that I've already made in long form and just cutting it down and putting it across different platforms to achieve these numbers, which I believe is much more a sense of working smarter than harder, if that makes sense, which is rare for me, by the way. Yeah, I actually thought I'd rewind because I'm going to look at 2020, but Twitch as well. I forgot to include some Twitch statistics. So in 2020, I averaged 4.6 viewers and I had 177 paid subscribers on Twitch. If you don't know what that is, you can basically pay monthly. It's around about £5 or $5 to subscribe to somebody on Twitch, and it just supports the streamer essentially. I gained 213 followers and I streamed for 637 hours. Now, what's funny is that this was mostly gaming. This right here, just bear this in mind when we go through the next tabs, the most amount of time that I streamed, and I streamed to 4.5 viewers technically. If we go to 2021, we're looking at, it upped to 7 average viewers, but 370 hours, which is still a considerable amount of time. 297 subscribers, which is a little bit more than the year before, and 240 followers. Again, just a little bit of an increase, but a lot of hours that, if you imagine, I put these into an actual working job, but this is done, I worked full time, and this was done as like part time, essentially outside of work, trying to build an audience and, quote unquote, make it as a streamer. If I Google, the average wage is £13 of an hourly rate, just to give this a little bit of context, I guess. So 637 hours streamed times £13 equals £8,281 is what I would have earned if I was actually working during that time. But what did I actually earn? About £380 for that year on Twitch. So let's do that. 380 divided by 637. Our hourly rate was 59p. Don't worry, it does get a little bit better as I go on. Here we go again, 2021. I won't do the workings out because it's pretty much very, very close, 2022, I saw 5 hours worth of streaming. As you can imagine, after 2020 and 2021, I was a bit disheartened, and I decided that I was just going to focus on necessarily the long form, which again, we saw some increases. So I was happy with making that decision, and I just decided to kick the can when it came to streaming on Twitch. I actually also done no streams on YouTube for that year, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, 4.2 average viewers, 16 paid subscribers, and 45 follows. Now, if we go to 2023, it did change a little bit, and I believe that's when I started streaming a little bit of tech repair. Not too much, because it was only 33 hours, so hardly anything, but I noticed quite a big increase on my average viewers because of the tech repair side of things, I think anyway. And that equaled 208 subscribers, and then the follows was 616. I actually think, if I recall correctly, I was potentially botted in this year, because 616 followers after 33 hours is not great, unless I shouted something out, unless I shouted out my Twitch channel. That is very possible that a few people came over from the YouTube side of things. And then 2024, to confirm, this is when I went full time. So this is what happened in 2024 on my Twitch. As you can see, we've had a huge jump. My average viewers went up to 144. My subscribers went up to 11,755. I had almost 10,000 followers and 533 hours streamed. This right here kind of was the biggest shock in the world, in the sense of, the fact that I had been, the previous years. This goes back to 2020. I've been streaming on Twitch since, I think, again, 2012. So, and it pretty much always looked like this every year. I think maybe 2018, 19, there was a big gap, but I was around about on Twitch for almost every single year from 2012. So this was still consistent in 2021. So to see numbers like this, and to obviously see the pay reflect this and be better, was just incredible. Considering this is my first full-time year on content creation, this carried that year a lot for me. It done extraordinary things, and 2024 was all round such an amazing year. Not on the short form stuff, because I wasn't necessarily concentrating on that, but in terms of actual streaming and the YouTube long form, it was massive. 2024 was a game changer, and this is the year that I went full time. So I would therefore expect it to line up and be a little bit more successful than the previous years, because I'm putting in a lot more hours, essentially. Be interesting to know how many hours I put in on the YouTube long form, but there's not really a way of tracking that. And there we go, 2025, when we go Twitch, I have an average amount of viewership of 227, which is an increase on the 144 by quite a lot. The subscribers paid is actually less, so almost 4,000 lower subs that have actually paid on the platform. And then the follows is also a little bit less, so 7,434 to the 9,295 the year before, and almost I think 70 or so hours less have been streamed for 2025. So I'm kind of expecting those results, as well as the fact, 2024 was such a big year for the full-time jump that I think a lot of people were on the hype for that. And naturally, of course, things are just going to slow down, and that's why I need to keep things fresh and be on top of everything. But that just kind of gives you a little bit of an insight. These average viewers here, whilst I believe that it is a little bit higher than 144, I don't believe a true representation is 227, because of the fact that I was on the Twitch front page 5 or 6 times, which got me a couple of thousand viewers per stream. So I do believe that is quite heavily inflated. However, looking at more raw data, I do think my average viewers is more than the 144 now on Twitch. So the average viewership is going up, but everything else at the moment seems to be on the downside, including the amount of hours that I put in. So, but yeah, again, it is, there might be some people who are interested in this. It's going to be very rough, raw and ready, just uploaded and out. But a good way of me being able to track things in the future. I like doing these little year-on-year updates. Just is a bit more of like a vlogging, softer touch, not as mainstream, not as la-di-da. And, you know, I'm not even going to use the term fancy editing because my videos are definitely not fancily edited, if that's words. Basically, the moral of the story is that I managed to go full-time content creation in 2024. There's a loud plane in the background, and I was able to do it in 2025 as well. So here's hopefully to 2026. I'll keep trying to improve what I can and make better content and be as consistent as what I have been these past 6 years. I will try. But I'm just incredibly grateful for everybody who has tuned in, watched, liked, subbed, supported in any way, shape or form, whether that's just watching. I'm not even talking about people who are going above and beyond, by the way, to support with the streams and everything like that. I'm just talking about if you watch my videos, I'm getting paid. So thank you for your time, I guess, most importantly, because it's one of the most valuable things in life. So thank you for committing your time to watching me, who is hopefully providing entertaining and educating content to yourself with repairs. And I've done a few gaming streams and whatnot. So, you know, if you've enjoyed those as well, again, I really appreciate it. Thank you also for clicking on the affiliate links because that really, really helps. Thank you for all of your advice with repairs and making me smarter when it comes to actually micro soldering and being able to diagnose faults on boards and whatnot. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me more time with my family. I think is the biggest goal here, and something that I will forever be proud of is making that jump, taking that little bit of a risk and saying I was able to be there for my children, and better yet as well, have my wife be there for them pretty much full time. That's the biggest achievement that I think personally I've managed to achieve. And that is because of you. So I do owe every single person who watches this channel a lot. And I genuinely mean that. I owe you guys a lot, because the only thing that I've ever kind of wanted to do was content creation ever since I was younger. So I had to, you know, turn and adapt and take on some stuff that was completely and utterly new to me, like the world of repair. But hopefully you're enjoying the journey. I mean, the stats show it, so that's really, really good. I will say as well, the only thing that I'm not extremely happy about, I have to be very careful how I word this, because it was my choice, and you know, I didn't do anything charity related in 2025, whereas 2024 we actually had 2 charity events. We had the one for Mind in memory of Tidda, which we managed to raise a really, really good amount of money. I think it was, I want to say around about £12,000 or so. And of course, the Rockin' Our Gaming charity, I think that happened in November 2024, I want to say. So just over a year ago now. And that was £24,000 raised for them as well. So, you know, I didn't actually in 2025 do any charity events, because I did want to kind of take a year for me and myself and see if I was able to push the boundaries a little bit, which according to the stats, you know, the year-on-year stats, looks like it was a great choice. But I do have this little bit of a guilty feeling that I didn't actually manage to do anything for charity. You know, we still managed to do some really nice giveaways for the audience, you guys watching, which was awesome. I also, quick shout out, had the school stuff. Now, I'll be 100% honest with you guys. When I launched the school, the idea of school was to, you know, bring in an extra bit of income to the business and teach people how to do certain things. And some of the stuff that we had, as an example, was the PS5 HDMI port masterclass, which was available at $70. And the whole point of that is that you could charge that for one successful HDMI port replacement. And then I had the other one, which was the Nintendo Switch one. And that was, again, $60, which you can, again, charge for that job. The first course was free, your first steps into repair. And then the second one was just Sally's Spectacular Spreadsheet. This is, I've really, really underachieved here. I've failed utterly and completely when it comes to school. It's still open. People are still joining. There's still links out there on joining the school. But it's just, I took on a lot more than what I was able to chew. And I don't necessarily want to lower the prices for these, because I genuinely believe that you will be successful in doing the jobs and be able to charge for the job itself. So I don't want to undervalue the courses that I've put the time into, but at the same time, they're not really selling that great. And again, this is just me being completely open and honest with you guys. Now, the better play would be to put some courses about, you know, your first actual steps into repair, whether that be hot air, how to use a hot air gun and how to use a soldering station, and maybe even teach some board view stuff. But in terms of the board view stuff, I'm not really the person to teach that, because I don't have much experience in that. So I can't blag my way through that. It's not something you can blag your way through. I'm not looking to blag my way through anything. The point of the HDMI port and the Nintendo Switch port is that I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times successfully. The school's not going anywhere. It's just that I have failed my expectations for where I thought it would be and how many sales I thought I would personally achieve on this. I did have a membership for 1 month, so you could pay I think it was $99, and what you'd achieve is like weekly calls with me and stuff, but it just took up a bit too much of my time, so I wasn't really able to justify it. So I'm losing money on school at the moment. I pay $99 a month to actually have this school about, but I would definitely keep it, and I don't think this is going to be essentially a lost cause. I think it will be something very valuable in the future, but at the moment it's just kind of sitting there. I'm trying to interact as much as I can with this to kind of keep it alive, but maybe one of my focuses in 2026 might be to try and get some more content out on school to help people and earn a little bit more revenue for the business. I will just quickly add, in terms of my mental stability and physical ability, in 2025, I made a very, very big change. In September 2024, I was 87 kg. And I decided to embark on like a little bit of a fitness journey to improve my physical state, because my mental health has been really, really good, if I'm honest. So I started off at 87 kg, and my whole kind of thought process around this was just to strip as much fat as possible to see what it was I looked like. And I managed to go down to, in July 2025, which is almost a year later, by the way. It took me quite a long time because I wasn't counting calories and stuff at the start and all of those things. And I was trying to get used to the gym, whereas from around about May 2025, so 7-8 months after I began the journey, I started taking things a little bit more serious in terms of my eating and started getting used to the gym and everything like that. So I managed to go down to 77 kg is what I went down to, sorry. And I managed to strip a lot of the fat that I had, which was nice. I didn't really want to go less than this. I think I could have, but I was really strict in terms of, I think by the end of it, I was on either 1,500 or 1,600 calories. And that was for like 2 weeks. And I wasn't really dropping anything. And I was like, this can't really continue because I'm at a level now where I'm pretty fatigued with everything. So I then decided to put some weight back on. So again, this is July 2025. And as of January, which is when I'm recording this now, it would have been maybe a couple of weeks ago now, however, I've then gone back up to my original starting weight, which is 87 kg. But the difference here between this 87 kg and this 87 kg is everything to me. And I think it's just the hard work that's gone in. And so for those who are wondering about routine and stuff, again, just for like an update or whatnot, achieving that was just using ChatGPT. I haven't had a personal trainer or anything like that. It's just me doing my research and playing with ChatGPT along the way. And it's been my daily driver and just checking in and keeping myself accountable. And I probably go to the gym anywhere from, I'd say, 3 to 5 times a week on average. I'd say it's around about maybe to 3 or 4. And obviously life gets in the way. I've had some weeks where there has been a couple where I've not been at all. And there's been a couple that I've been once or twice, but I try and aim for anywhere between 3 to 5. And it's just your push-pull legs split that I do. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I just kind of try and work out on something that doesn't hurt, I guess, and where I don't really feel fatigued. But in terms of physical health, I feel great at the moment. I'm a little bit bigger, chunkier. I think I'm sat around about 89 kg. Once I get up to 90 kg, I'm then going to cut again, maybe to around about 82 or 80 and see how I look and just kind of rinse and repeat, because I just want to see what I'm able to do in life with my body, I guess. And I want to be fit and healthy for my children who are still relatively young. I have a 3-year-old and a little baby boy who is 7 months old, who has just, by the way, said this. So he's now saying that, which is awesome as of 2 days ago. So yeah, big achievements all round, I think. Great year, really happy with it, and looking forward to seeing what 2026 brings. Pretty much it. There's probably a lot more stuff that I forgot to talk about, but like I said, again, all praise and all thanks goes to you for watching and supporting me and being able to do this full time. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I know it's just a lot of rambling. It won't be anything fancy. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.